In a small town nestled between rolling hills, there lived a woman named Clara. Clara was in her mid-30s, a single mother of two energetic children, and a part-time librarian. Despite her love for books and stories, Clara often found herself overwhelmed by the complexities of financial management. Bills seemed to multiply like rabbits, and the thought of saving for her children's education felt like trying to catch smoke with her bare hands. Yet, deep down, she yearned for a sense of stability and confidence in her financial future. One rainy afternoon, while sorting through the library's donation pile, Clara stumbled upon an old book titled The Confident Investor. The cover was worn, and the pages were yellowed with age, but something about it drew her in. As she flipped through the pages, she discovered not just investment strategies, but also tales of individuals who had transformed their financial lives through knowledge and perseverance. Inspired, Clara decided to take control of her financial destiny. The first chapter spoke of the importance of budgeting. Clara had always thought budgeting was restrictive, a way to limit her spending and stifle her enjoyment of life. However, as she read on, she realized that budgeting was less about deprivation and more about empowerment. It was a tool that could help her prioritize her needs and goals. With a newfound perspective, Clara grabbed a notebook and began to outline her monthly income and expenses. She categorized her spending into essentials, like rent, groceries, and utilities, and non-essentials, like dining out and entertainment. At first, the numbers felt daunting. It was difficult to confront the reality of her financial situation, but with each line she wrote, she felt a growing sense of clarity. She identified areas where she could cut back, such as canceling a subscription she rarely used and limiting takeout meals. Instead of feeling restricted, she felt liberated. Each decision to save a little more gave her a sense of control, and she began to see budgeting as a path toward her goals rather than a chain binding her down. As Clara continued her journey through the book, she learned about the power of saving. The author emphasized the importance of setting up an emergency fund, a financial safety net that could catch her in times of need. Clara had always lived paycheck to paycheck, but she realized that even small contributions to a savings account could build a cushion over time. With determination, she began to set aside a portion of her income each month. It wasn't much at first, just $20, but with each deposit, she felt a swell of confidence. The book also introduced the concept of investing. Claire had always thought that investing was a realm reserved for the wealthy or those with a background in finance. However, the author broke it down into simple terms. She learned about stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and how they could work for her. The idea of investing was intimidating, but the book reassured her that she didn't need to start big. She could begin with a small investment in a mutual fund, allowing her money to grow over time. With her newfound knowledge, Clara decided to open an investment account. The first time she clicked Submit on her investment, her heart raced. It felt like a leap into the unknown, but it was also exhilarating. She was no longer a passive observer of her financial life. She was an active participant. Each month, she would contribute a little more, watching her account grow. The thrill of seeing her investments increase in value fueled her confidence, and she started to view her financial future with a sense of optimism. As the months went by, Clara's mindset began to shift. She no longer felt like a victim of her circumstances. She felt empowered. She started to share her journey with friends and family, and to her surprise, many of them were facing similar struggles. Clara organized a small gathering at her home where they could share tips and support one another. They laughed, exchanged stories, and even created a group chat dedicated to financial advice. This sense of community not only bolstered Clara's confidence, but also inspired others to take charge of their finances. One evening, as Clara tucked her children into bed, she reflected on how far she had come. She remembered the days when the mere thought of budgeting made her anxious. Now she felt a sense of pride in her financial decisions. She had learned to approach money with curiosity rather than fear. She understood that mistakes were part of the learning process and that each step she took was a building block for her future. Clara's confidence continued to grow as she set new financial goals. She started planning for her children's education, researching scholarship opportunities and college savings plans. She even began to dream about a vacation for her family, something she had always put on the back burner due to financial constraints. With her budget in place and her savings growing, she realized that these dreams were not out of reach after all. One day, as she sat in the library, Clara noticed a young woman looking stressed as she flipped through financial self-help books. Clara approached her and struck up a conversation. She shared her own journey, how she had turned her financial struggles into a source of empowerment. The young woman listened intently, her eyes lighting up with hope. Clara realized that she had become a source of inspiration for others, just as she had once found inspiration in that old book. Through her experience, Clara learned that financial confidence is not merely about having money. It's about understanding it. It's about taking small steps, making informed decisions, and fostering a mindset of growth. With each step she took, she built not only her financial future, but also her self-esteem. She discovered that the journey to financial literacy was not just a solitary path. It was one that could be shared and celebrated with others. As Clara closed the chapter on her initial journey, she knew it was just the beginning. The lessons she had learned would continue to guide her as she navigated the complexities of life. She had transformed her relationship with money from one of fear and uncertainty into one of confidence and empowerment. And in doing so, she had not only changed her own life, but had also planted the seeds of financial literacy in her community, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys toward financial confidence.